Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is going to be a section of hyper aggressive chess. So, if you're interested in openings that are very aggressive, exciting, and full of fighting spirit, then you're probably in the exact place you should be. It was, in some other ways, called karma. So, let's see if your karma does serve you right, as I am going to go on a trip to show you some aggressive ways of playing. I am planning to play the dragon, but if you have any aggressive solutions, reasonable ones obviously, that are correct, we are not memeing around. This time around, we're going all in for some exciting chess. Alright? E4, that's the best way to get aggressive positions. E6, and I do have this funky little line, which looks strange, but in fact, whenever black takes, it basically just transposes into reversed Budapest positions. Hello there, Giannis, how are you? There, knight c3, attacking the e-pawn, queen e2, trying to gobble that up. And note, once I manage to do so, I will get a very strong bishop on b2, sort of eyeing the g7 pawn. Is this necessarily the best? Not quite sure. Obviously, d4, gaining more space is better, but here you do get pressure due to that fianchetto bishop. There, yep, long castles. That will be an idea, but not the only idea. I could even consider undermining it because I have more pieces developed. The other idea is going g4 and pressing against the e4 pawn. Note, if I can get rid of this pony, this bishop will be unopposed. Also, once my bishop gets to g2, I will get the chance of actually pressing down this diagonal as well. Bishop b7. Mm-hmm. I can just take, open it up for the bishop. And at the end of the day, I can still play d4 and just centralize. X, X. Knight d7. It's time to develop. This knight might want to go e5 or towards c6. I do need to somehow open it up on this side of the board. h6 would make sense, a5. Okay, trying to do similar stuff. Can go ahead, play g5, setting up queen d4, pressing on that, guys. And if they take, that always opens up some doors. a4, queen d4. Eyeing the pawn. f6. Could go here. There, takes. Alright, let's put pressure on the e6 pawn. Still have pressure there as well. It's kind of annoying. Hello there, Dosildina. How are you? A3. Now I am going to keep this bishop. I'm going to bring it to c3 where it defends this pawn. Also, my king will have a safe route to a1. Now a3 is this typical computer move, hoping to win in a million moves, but I'm not sure if it's the best. In fact, taking and trying to undermine the safety of my king would have been much stronger. Knight c5. Trying to exchange, which is fine. Is it fine? No? I'll just sidestep, press there. I didn't want to exchange queens, and I might want to get my other rook on the file. Notice my rooks are just a bit better than my opponent's. My opponent's rooks are a little passive. Compared to that, these guys are already on the files they're supposed to be on. Hey JBC, how are you? b5. b5 I didn't consider, which is a shame, but hey, that's what it is. Okay, let's go queen g4. Pressing there as well. So far, I don't feel too bad about my position. The only weakness I have is defended. That king is a little bit iffy. e5. e5. I don't know if I buy this. Takes. Alright, let's take. And at the end, the e5 pawn is weak. You can never take because your king is in danger. Takes. Yup. Knight e5. And that looks like an extra pawn. Looks like an extra pawn. Not to talk about the fact that this pawn can become a target later on. There, okay. Let's defend it. Let's over defend the knight. Once this gets an outpost, the situation will get much more comfortable for me. And also note that this bishop is actually much more powerful than it was earlier on. Knight d7, trying to use the fact that there's some tricks there. To go here, takes. Okay, let's go here. Just sidestepping and pressing on g7. And this can be a little bit annoying. Apart from having an extra pawn, I do have pressure on that square. h5. Okay, can I take on d7 there? Knight f6 there. Takes here. Knight f6. Okay. takes, knight takes. I have knight d7, hitting on that rook, hitting that bishop. Uncomfortable threats. Just making it easier and cleaner. That's what I'm trying to do with my play. There, knight f6. Hitting that rook. If takes, I just capture back and I'm still up billions of pawns. That's actually a good deal. Actually, there's no way of defending the bishop in that case. If king here, I just take the rook. And if the king moves here, I have bishop b4 check. So for a good reason, black resigned. Actually a nice little game. Hey people, how are you? Hey Gerard, how are you? How you doing? 10:30. Yeah. That was a sweet little mate. Enjoyed it. Sometimes you don't have to sacrifice, but sacrifices can actually make your game easier. It just cleans it all up. In fact, Karpov was known to have these little sacrifices that kind of cleared off the situation and made sure that he can sweep the game in a few moves. As you might know, in chess, time is of essence, and especially with clicking time and ticking time definitely matters. All right, let's go c5. I'm gonna go the hyper aggressive way. Bishop g7. You're gonna press on those guys. d5. Okay, knight f6, hitting this pawn. 5, knight g4. Now, white actually, I think, overextended a little bit. d6, and the problem is whenever you move the bishop to f4, oftentimes the b2 pawn becomes a target. In fact, right here, I think I can take on b2. That's not a threat you want to sneeze at. By the way, this g6 line is called the hyper accelerated dragon. It's an interesting one. Probably not the best, but very interesting and leads to dragon-like positions. Well, the bishop is worth 3 and the rook is worth 5. So if you can get it, you want to. Okay. Let's exchange. I don't mind. I don't mind the exchange. Knight d2. Go queen f5. I go queen f5. I mean that's actually, yeah, I want to go queen f5. Just to be around the king, and most of the times it's quite important. Bishop g3. The issue I have, if takes f6, it does give a lot of play for my opponent. I'm just gonna take here first. Rook b1. Wow. Okay. There. Rook b1, I completely blanked. That's not good. Bishop f6. Check. King looking good, but I'm trying to hide my king away from all the fun things. And that's why actually I brought the bishop back, so my king can actually walk to g7. Hey Rustich, how are you? No, you actually did brilliantly. Your second game, I saw your internal monologue. And you talked about that you haven't really seen how to mate with a queen and bishop, and you did perfectly. Like, you were so precise in that second endgame. That was out of this world. And I'm being serious right now. I'm not joking. Knight e4. That's nasty. This guy's playing nasty. Okay, rook e8. Let's pin it and put pressure. There. But ha! Don't I have that move? I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do. I've still got to do it. This counter trick. Yeah, the blitz section. And in some sense, I feel that if there is something, if I could go back time, I would definitely show some tricks of being faster. Now, I don't know if anyone's a fan of Cher. I do like that song. If I could turn back time. But hey, I don't think it's possible. But if anybody knows a way to turn back time, we should do it. We should do it. Knight c6. Now, I did connect my rooks and I'm happier than usual. However, yeah. So in fact, I think you did well. And probably should have found a different move order for you in the opening. But I felt that you got good positions. Just your lady. You just got to save your lady. That's all, Rustich. But anyways, happens. Queen f3. To do what to do. You go here, bother that pawn, something like that. But you really don't have that much time. Knight d4 is good. Always towards the center and attack. Takes, king takes. If I'm really good at science, but I'm not really good at science, that's the problem. I have this check and take the pawn. Notice my opponent has a back rank problem. Obviously, it's not my problem, but it's good to remember that it exists. If I go here, it doesn't do much. Let's just go rook c8. Want to exchange, just retain the pawn. Takes it. Now I go down to the second rank. Oh, that's a knight. Thank you. I'll take that. That's a gift. Shall not refuse. Awesome. So as you've seen, I'm trying to speed it up when I go below a threshold of time. So if I go below like 2 minutes or a minute and 50, I try to speed it up. Not before that. But okay, it does take a lot of practice to make it work. So I'm trying to do hyper aggressive chess now. Meaning I will be risking some. However, there'll be some repercussions. If I go too fast and furious, that'll be an issue. e4, c5. Again, I'm going to go this dragon sort of way, which is a little risky. However, this bishop will put lots of pressure on my opponent's position, especially this b2 pawn. dc. Okay, queen a5 check. There, knight f6. Now note, I don't want to give up my bishop for anything, because the heart and soul of a dragon position. This whole setup is this bishop on g7. Let's castle. Rook b1. Okay. Go bishop g4. To get rid of that and develop my guys. Knight d7, controlling the e5 square. I didn't want to go knight c6 because oftentimes this queen will just run out of space. Let's get this rook on the file, but then maybe there'll be problems with that pawn. So I'm just gonna stop that. Hey Enigma, how are you? There, bishop e3, queen c7. Want to do knight e5 later on. Knight c5. So the big problem, usually, in Sicilians is the e4 pawn. If I manage to undermine that guy, I'll be a happy camper. Otherwise, I won't be a happy camper. The Junior and the Cocoa, thank you for following. What is anti-tilt? Helps me avoid getting tilted. Check. Now, taking is not good. If you have two bishops and your opponent does not, you want to avoid what just happened here. Okay. I think I want to play e6 because I kind of anticipate any of these moves, but if it ever happens, I can capture with the e pawn. Now this is a dream scenario because this pawn is on the rocks, literally. It can't go forward. I already blocked it off. And now I just surround the pawn. There, I shall take that pawn. Thank you. Probably I should slalom all the way to the other side. Or at least slalom that knight towards the center. There, sneaky. The first thing you do whenever you're looking at your opponent's move is, what the heck are they trying to achieve? So I noticed that, hey, they're trying to take my stuff. I'm just going to maneuver it up to d5. There. My opponent is trying to be tricky, but I see through my opponent. Here I can actually capture with my queen. Otherwise, this trick would work. So if this queen would be away, I'm going to show you guys. Here, this is obviously winning because here I have queen takes. And if you take, that's basically an exchange with me getting an extra piece. Let's say the queen moves. I move something here. Takes. Now this works because the rook is the one defending it. If I capture with the bishop, then there's rook takes e5 and I lose the queen. And the same thing goes with the queen takes, there's rook takes f6. So the only exception with these tactical tricks, if there's a queen in front, as happened in the game, in this situation, this would just only lead to an exchange and not as rook takes would happen in this case when I would be lost. So these are kind of those minor details that grandmasters see or try to notice and beginners often miss. Machine, pterodactyl defense. I don't know why they call it that. It's in chess circles, it's called the hyperaccelerated. I am berserking. All right. So I guess we are continuing this journey. I did not expect d4, but nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition ever. Maybe I should, but I did not. And again, I am developing my guys. This guy is quite strong and it defends my king. h4. Now, whenever your opponent is playing on both sides of the board, 90% of the time, that means that something's off. In fact, it just doesn't make sense to play here than there. There's just no congruence between the two. Is England good? I don't know what you mean by England, but the English variation is good. Now, don't get me wrong, I can answer questions that are not chess related, but I did not understand what England is good means. A little strange. Not all grandmasters are calm. Some international masters are yet to be calm. Alright, let's see. H5. Knight f6. So if your opponent is attacking, you don't have to panic. Just get your pieces out, especially when you have this bishop on g7. Now this is nasty a little bit, but my bishop will crawl back through the window. But again, notice I have one knight out. Let's see. Go here as well. Yeah, let's just drop back. And I have a knight, a queen out, and my opponent only a bishop. So in fact, the situation is sort of reversing. Before I was behind in development, and now it's white who's a little bit behind. That only means good things. Now, again, we might, as some of you might remember, this square can be annoying. It's not the end of the world, however. I can still defend, but it's something I have to tend for as black. How to avoid blunders? Well, you notice patterns that your opponent has in the position, like checkmating ideas on g7, and you will actively play against it. Those are the patterns you have to recognize to avoid blunders. There, e6, and this looks weird, but eventually I have to crawl back into the game with this bishop. And note that my king is close to this square, but it's not quite there yet. So I have the option to go either way if I want to. A more elite question would be how to avoid inaccuracy. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, you keep playing the same line, find one variation that you enjoy, keep playing it, and then you'll get better. Or not. Not getting better is also an option. Alright, let's defend it. And notice I'm trying to defend all of my folks. Knight e5. And this is probably missed by my opponent. Thought that I have to defend, but sometimes counterattacking does work. I actually attack the queen and the bishop at the same time. Alright, so could take here. But why not just develop? Takes. I don't like the fact that my king is still in the middle, so I'm trying to scoot over some of those ways. So I'm just gonna get my pieces out first. Knight f3. There, okay. Alright. I'm gonna capture now. Because I feel I'm ready to get all of my guys out. Knight takes c4. Can I pin? No, because there's knight takes d6 check. That would be nasty. So I'm just gonna close it off. Kind of making these guys look stupid. There, bishop b5 still doesn't work. I still can't go there. It's getting annoying. Alright, let's castle. Let's Castellino. Hey, how are you, Black Sector? How to avoid winning? That's actually a good question. I like that. Make lots of blunders. If you blunder a lot, then you shall not win. I think that's kind of the grandmasterly way of explaining it. Let's bother that rook. I did lose the pawn. However, because I feel my opponent's pieces are still disorganized, I feel it's not the end of the world. It could be, but I'm not quite ready for the Armageddon. How the sheep moves. I don't know. This doesn't really look like a sheep. Maybe a mountain goat. This is a mountain goat. This could be a sheep because it's still back there. But this mountain goat might get thrown off the cliff pretty soon. At least that is my big, big evil plan. Sheep starts on J8, yeah. Let's encircle that mountain goat. There's no sea salt. Actually, the salt was right there. Probably that's why this goat took it. But I wish nothing good for that sheep. Sheep, goat, goat. D8. Want to erase this goat from existence. I couldn't take because my knight was under attack, which made it kind of annoying. Did I consider castling queenside? I did, but then I realized I don't want to. Okay, I could pin something like that. Tico Manik, thank you so much for your raid. Hope you had a fun time. I also hope I did not butcher your name terribly. I have the bishops, and I'm full of optimism. But who knows? Anyways, I want to pin that queen, first and foremost. Yeah. Let's take this fellow. Now, I'm not 100 gazillion% sure I'm doing fantastic. But I don't feel too bad either, because this rook is just doing absolutely nada apart from defending those pawns, and that's not what you should be doing. Yazan, thank you for following. Decomaniac, okay. Ah, from the Dictionary, I see. Alright, so let's pressure those guys. And if you don't know what to do, just bring your rook into the game. That's how chess is played. Occasionally. Other times it's played differently, but this time I'm gonna get my rook on the file. So that's nasty. G3. Okay. G3. Can I go here? Takes, knight takes. I want to press on this side of the board. I want to create some pressure on the c pawn. Maybe even bishop a6 and b5, b4. If I could get a better view, that would be fascinating and good. Thank you guys for the follows. Guinea Pig, Archerfish, Yazan, Muzituga, Michal Tal, or Tail. Oh god, these names are so tough. F4. What is F4 though? Okay. I am gonna ignore it. Just gonna ignore it. I'm going for my own attack. Not interested with the development over on that side. I'm going to go this way. And even though I'm losing some pawns, which not a good thing, but with my king a little bit safer, I have hopes. I could go queen c5 at some moment or queen g5, both with the intent of infiltrating. If I could infiltrate somehow, then that'll be a happy day. You was going to say that? Yeah, good. So I do want to play a4 just to undermine this fellow on b3. And also note that these are doubled pawns, so they're not even worth that much. There, queen e3, a4, I'm gonna undermine it. Takes, could take. Should I? Yeah, let's take it. This is getting ugly for me a little bit. Not that I've given up. Never give up. Things might go bad. Bag. Things can go bag. Things can go bag. But things can also go bad. That's a bigger concern. I'm not concerned of bags. This is not the Lord of the Rings. Oh, let's press. Well, I don't know if I can beat Magnus Carlsen, but I did beat Nakamura not long ago online. If that satisfy your needs and thoughts about the topic. There, okay. So I've got to take with the queen. Now I will have to be vigilant not to let this queen inside. If it gets in there, it's mate. So I don't want that. I want to go this way just to undermine the king. Or somehow just infiltrate. Somehow get the queen over. Because queen and bishop, they're powerful duo. If that could work, if I wouldn't make mistakes, that would also make it much better. Let's take. Takes. There, okay, check. There. What? Yeah, I'll take this pawn. And this is bad, obviously. I could go rook d1. Why didn't I go rook d1? Panicked. Never panic. I did, but hey, doesn't mean you should do it too. Panicking ain't good. Let's take there. 7. Yeah, now this is bad news. But there's a limited amount of material on the board. So it actually isn't quite as bad as one might think. Okay, where to go? Let's go here. G8, F8. G6. Okay, oof. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah, this is bad news. Bad news. Takes king g7. 8 here. Ooh, timeout. See, never lose, never give up. Always look at the clock and try to avoid losing on the position. All right, e4. Gonna get aggressive. Got lucky there, honestly. Again, I'm gonna do this good old fianchetto. Knight c3. We need to. We're going to eye that good old pawn, g4. And we are actually doing the double fianchetto. Knight c5. Okay, fine, on castles. My opponent defended the e4 pawn, but honestly, I am not impressed. F3, knight takes f3. And if you just notice, I castle, put my rooks on the open files, so if anything, I should be quite content. Okay. Let's get this rook on the open file. That was close. That was definitely close. What are my favorite books? I love Ivan Sokolov books. And all of you just learning chess, I definitely would advise you to take a look at I Am Rosen's channel. He's very good with educational chess. I'm going to go for g5, just open up for my pieces. Also notice that even though I'm down like 1,000 pawns, my opponent has barely moved any of those guys. Knight a6, and with my opponent king still in the middle, it just makes sense to go d5 and go very much aggro against that king. Also note that both of my rooks are stationing right there, supporting any sort of tactical ideas. Now, Rosen is very good at explaining the basics and the ideas. Openings, I'm not quite sure we're in agreement. I think you should play 1e4. Rook d5. Now, if knight d5, knight d5, there. I can go there. Okay, rook d5. The point is you can't capture because I have queen e7 checkmate. Queen b4. Okay, but rooks do move backwards. It's defended, and suddenly that knight is falling. Now, by the way, there's no shame in missing this move ever, because I've seen super grandmasters miss these attacks. They're very rare. Usually, you're expecting frontal attacks, never sideways. But here, sideways is very strong. Notice that this bishop isn't defending that knight, so this time the knight is just fallen. Well, as aggressive you can get, on move 16 I have almost all of my pieces out. Just lurkalicious lurking around that king. Alright, that's a lady. We shall take that lady. There. Now notice there's this guy on e7 defending and shielding the king. My opponent couldn't take on d5, so I can actually use the same old trick. If takes, queen e7 is mate. So I can actually give up a knight or sacrifice a knight, and that's why my opponent resigned, because in this case, if takes, I just go queen e7 and it's checkmate. So this is something that you can do. You can get very aggressive, and my opponent was getting just too greedy defending this pawn. And for a pawn, I actually managed to get all of my pieces in front of my opponent's king. And then I started to make sure it opens up, and after rook d4, it's a win, because I win the piece. Alright, let's go back in the hunt for first Platze. What's my ping? I've never checked. Giving up the knight wasn't better. Probably it was. Obviously it was. You want to keep your queen at all times. But probably, objectively, the game was lost at that moment. Criton, thank you for the follow. By the way, curious, where do you guys come from? I come from Budapest, but at the moment, hiding in St. Louis. Flaviosa, thank you for the follow. Alright, let's go ahead. We're gonna do some more of this. Again, pressing. Germany. Bangalore. C3, trying to stabilize. Okay, I'll take. Can go D5. And notice that apart from trying to pressure these guys, I'm trying to take a foothold in the center. There, I have this very nice little move, bishop g4, pinning and pressing on this knight. Takes. And this is a good deal. Now, there are haters on the French, me, because you have a terrible bishop. But this is a French where you are a happy camper. Why? Because you don't have that anymore and you get a good structure. You connect those pawns and create nice little threats. There. This sort of calls for action because whenever this bishop moves, that should alert you that these pawns will be weak. Do I know Romanian GMs? Plenty of them. Ungureanu, of course I know them. I mean, I could name names if you want me to. If you want me to, I can do so. Just let me know. Could take. Should I take? That is the question. Well, you're here to capture. Yeah, let's capture it. Also, now the e5 pawn will become miserable. There, king f8. This looks iffy, but because I have this bishop around, it is not that dangerous. It's still dangerous, but not the end of the world. You played in Romania? I don't think I have. Let's take this pawn and then I can get my knight out to f6. Which is important. You want to develop and connect your pieces. Here, just to create a little bit of luft for my king. Rook e1, being sneaky. Do I fear that? I don't think I do. Because anywhere it goes, I can capture because my queen will be hanging. I can just drop back. There, rook c8. And I'm no ghostbuster. I'm not afraid of no ghosts. So, Romanian GMs. Okay, I can go just queen f5. Want to exchange queens. Notice I'm up a pawn. Queen exchange is perfectly good for me. By the way, also shout out to Rustage, who's in the works for a chess rap. I really hope to hear that in the future. Hope that's still in the works. And also was part of the famous tournament arc tournament. It's very close to claiming third place, but unfortunately didn't work out. Let's go knight e4. Get these guys on the file. Fe. And I will have full domination in the center with these Tetris pawns. F5, and look at that Tetris structure. You love to see it, man. Love to see it. Tournament arc, yes. I'm going to provide you the link. So all the AnyTubers, so anime streamers, were playing in a knockout event. Okay, wants to trick me. I don't like this. This guy wants to trick me. How dare you? How dare you want to trick me? Get this rook on the file. That's what I want. So AnyTubers, people who review, play, and talk anime. They were having a chess tournament. If you missed it, you might want to watch the VOD. It was really good. King f6. My opponent is trying to undermine me, but my rook will be just on the g file to break some havoc. Right, so I could take, or check here first? Let's check here first, because if I could get these two tractors on the second, that should be the end. You've never seen that four-leaf clover looking pawn structure, right? Well, there's always a first time. Check. Check again. Wait. Maybe I should start here first. This should be a checkmate. Where is it? Where is my mate? Where is my checkmate? I was so confident that there is. Okay, let's check. There. I gave up plenty of pawns. Bishop here, bishop there. Anyways, bishop f4. Takes. What? What? Now I thought that if I defend it, it's a win. Turns out not to be the case. Check, check. Check. Let's take this. For sure. Are you gonna take that? Okay, I'm gonna take this. There, knight d6, knight d6. I'll capture that one. I'll capture that one. Oh, tricked me. Got tricked there. Here's check, takes. There, b5, and we're gonna start running with the d pawn. Depending on which pawn's gonna be taken, a5. There, b4. There, bring the king. The king is the heart and soul of this game. So, if my king is faster, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, here. There. Let's take this pawn. Yeah, I'm just messing it up. Back. I should have gone there. Should have gone there. Okay, king c3. Wait. Here. Let's push. Oh no, the king comes there. No. b2. Yeah. Make a draw. Yeah, I messed it up. Opponent played well. That's a shame. That is a shame. Hikaru said he has no GMs in his team, that rather he has two computer experts who are trying to find strong unknown engine lines. This might be the reason for his success. Well, I don't think so, because there are other top 10 players, so 1 out of 10 is not a number that you can rely on. That means that his method might work, But statistically speaking, the other 9 people actually use Super Grandmaster help. There, all right, let's go hyper aggressive ourselves. Go full Mora. So the other 9 super GMs don't do it that way. In the top. On the top. There, let's go bishop c4. Eyeing the knight. Notice I'm willing to give up pawns just for my opponent, so I can develop easily and quickly. Who are the 9 GMs? I was just talking and mentioning the top 10. Fischer was the greatest of all? Possibly. I would think so too. Okay. Takes, check, nothing. Bishop b5. Just making sure there's no knight c6. Bishop e3. Trying to take there. Can I name the top 10? I could, but I'm lazy. I'm not gonna do it. So, in your opinion, training with engine is possible? Yes, but if you really want to be a good player, you want to mix it up with coaches slash computers. Because computers gives you the best of the best move, not the optimal one. And in chess, you're actually searching for something that is optimal for you. Again, I'm down a pawn, but notice I have all these pieces out. And that should be in a form some of those compensation. Knight a3, I'm trying to attack this guy on b5. All right, 2700. You can find all the top players. That's your link, Rutwik. Knight c6, but knight c6, and this is the reason why I'm saying and telling you that pawns don't matter as much as having very strong pieces. Now knight c7 is unstoppable. And it's basically game over. Are books a good source of learning? Yes. Books are important. Books are extremely, extremely important. By the way, do you guys read books, chess books, any kind of books? Like how many books did you read this month? Yep, and in fact, there's a pretty way of winning here. So here, check, king d8, and now I can do this beautiful mate. Knight e6 check, king e8, and it is mate in 2. Does a manga count? Manga is a book. Yes, it does count. Let's try to checkmate here. It's mate in 2. It is a classical and a beautiful, beautiful checkmate. College counts. It's a book. Yep. Queen d8 mate. Check. I mean, it's just a check now. You've got to capture. Knight c7 and it's mate. And I'm also forking everyone. That's not an ugly mate. Check. Knight e6. Queen d8. Knight c7. Checkmate. And I haven't even castled yet. Smotherino, indeed. The good old Smotherino. Booyah, indeed, Lunde. Booyah. By the way, I'm curious. Is anyone following ReZero 2? To read a chess book requires a lot of time. Well, you don't have to read the whole thing. You can read chapters. It's good, right? Blake. All right, let's Berserkovich. Let's go e4. Dark, you're interested in a chess book. So let's see. All right, let's go knight f3. Okay. All right, all right. d3. Who is Rem? If I could remember who Rem is, that would make my day. What endgame books? I studied a book by Portish. Portish is an endgame. That's pretty good. Bishop g2. And basically it's the same position, but with my bishop on g2 and my opponent's on e7. There, it's kind of symmetrical. Now, first off, I want to get this knight into the game, so I'm gonna go knight d2. What is the best and worst thing to happen in chess? I don't know. Chess is kind of enjoying itself. It just exists. It's just a great game. I don't like it. I don't think there's a best and worst thing. Some might say en passant is the worst thing ever to happen. I like it. It's fun. But I don't know. I really don't have like a maybe that's a good point. The worst thing to happen is the quicker time controls. Now I know some of you who just joined with this late chess boom on the internet. You're unfamiliar with this game being really long. So normally a game lasts for 6 hours. But you know, if you're in another business, let's say you are building a machine, you're building an AI. Would you want to build an AI in, let's say, 30 minutes or in 2 years? Obviously, you would want to build a machine in 2 years. Why? Because you want a quality machine. I'm just making sure my opponent can't expand. Now, that's why chess players love 6-hour games, because they can make it perfect. So chess was in respect in the 30s to the 80s and art, because you were creating a masterpiece. Knight c4. Notice my opponent has no idea what's going on. I am pressing this pawn a little bit. I don't want to play d4. I'm kind of being a little enigmatic of my plans. That's why my opponent is burning time. Anyways, back to the topic. That's why the 6-hour long games were awesome for us chess players. But then came presidents of chess who decided that, hey, that's too long. Let's make it 3 hours or 3.5. And that kind of was to the detriment of the quality of the game. So that's the worst thing that happened. The better thing is that now we finish the games earlier. What are the biggest mistakes that beginners make while they are studying chess? I think that they don't practice enough or don't really question of what's going on. Let's take there. I do want to maneuver my knight to d5. Notice if my opponent tries to do the same, I can always kick it out with c3. But once my knight gets to d5, this knight is just in the way. Knight e5 is actually a decent move. Let's take. I'm gonna take with the f so I can push my pawn in the future. That 6 stars is already dropped down, Xerxes. There, don't want to exchange queens, just gonna move it away. And notice it's kind of a close position, so it's hard to get close to my lady. Bishop e6, knight e3, and I want to get that knight towards this juicy square of d5. Any tips to improve? Tactics. Tactics is very important because that can give you lots of easy wins. Go here. I'm gonna go there. Just pressing that knight, also having some pressure there. I don't think I have enough yet to sacrifice, but actually I won't even have the time because my opponent just takes it. So one of the things that I would do is tactics. You can find lots of these on Lichess or Chess.com, whichever you prefer. And that will help you grow as a player. Because when you're a beginner, it is all about tricks. It's all about seeing those tricks. So practicing that is important. How to jump from 2100 to 2300? That is a bit more of a complicated question. I'm gonna go h4, just making sure this knight is terrible there. And bishop can also kind of guard this square in the future. I'd even go c3, b4, so I can plant my bishop on c5. So if you are around 2100, 2300, it really depends on personal coaching. Because you need to be very specific of what's going wrong. Bishop b6, pressing that square. Rook d2, that's annoying. I did not expect that one, honestly. I can still go rook c1, just defend it. And then just smoke it out with the other rook. Should you study tactics in any particular way? So there are tactics books, like I have this one as my favorite. That's a pretty good one. I'm gonna exchange. I'm gonna go rook d1. That's a good one. Or Polgar's big book if you're very determined to become really good. If you're not determined, obviously shouldn't buy that. That's like a huge tome of a book. And that Igor, I think, is just too complicated. Again, that's very high level. Not that it's a bad thing, but you don't need to be that. You don't have to be that harsh on yourself. I think that's just too high. Now, obviously, if you're 2400 upwards, it's a good choice. But I don't think if you're just starting out, you should study that. That should be like a later step. So I would stick to some books because it's a good idea just to get used to chess books. So for that, Chaba Balog is something that I would choose just to get your feet back. There. Okay. Gonna make sure that this king is stuck, also taking away all these squares from my opponent. Okay. All right. Let's bring the king because it'll be crucial in the end. Rook e8. Let's bring the king again. Bishop e7. Yep. c3, b4. Notice that black is basically tied up and is waiting for doom to arrive. Sure thing, hate down. f6. Okay. Let's go bishop f5. Just controlling all those important squares. And notice, this is really a heartache for black because you can't move. You literally don't have a plan, and I am just slowly moving forward. I decide to just open it up for my rooks and bishops. So I'm going for f4, bishop c7, over exerting lots of pressure on the e5 pawn. And notice, anytime things open, my rook will show up on the g file, and the bishops will break havoc on that side of the board. Thank you for the follow. Only Gambito. Question. Unguran is asking, how do you prepare in openings? I work very little on this. There's some copy of books and ideas. So what I would do is choose an opening. Choose a hero. Like, say, Fischer is a hero of yours. You're going to take a look at his openings and just play them constantly. Keep practicing. You might say that, oh, Fischer, it was a billion years ago. Yeah, but Fischer, believe it or not, is still relevant. He studied chess super hard. So don't be surprised. That guy from Brooklyn still knows what's up. Bishop b8, that was smart. Smart. Takes. Rook d6. Bothering that pawn. King e4. And again, note that this bishop can dominate that knight. The knight is being dominated. Okay, c4. Still, black can't do anything. Rook e7. Now I can just go b5, creating a second weakness on the other side. And that's actually one of those things that you learn from these books. You want to create second weaknesses. b4. There. Bishop g4. There, rook b6. My idea is to press on those directions. And once I pick these guys up, it's game over. You actually use his repertoire. Yep. Takes, and that's the problem for black. This is quite a threat. Rook takes. King d4. So rook is under attack. The knight is under attack. And then I will have an a-pawn running down the board. And chess is actually a very combative game. You always have to be vigilant of what's going on. Oh, I want to take. And then go there. There, king c3. Just attacking the pawn. And my rook and bishop should mop it up. There, bishop e6. Attacking, also kind of making this king feel a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here. Just want to pick up the pawn. There, let's just pick it up. That was maybe big mistake. Takes. Bishop e6. there. H6, G4 takes. Yeah, that's bad news. I messed it up. Actually, I didn't. Did? I did not. Okay. E7. E3. Should be 6. Oh my god. Yep. I mean, this is probably very close to a draw, but it ain't. Yeah, I did mess it up. But a win is a win, and that's what matters. Not my best. No, not my best. Actually, it's still winning there, I think. Or at least close. Fischer is still high up on the tier as a chess player. One of the best. Do you ever see anybody winning 6-0 versus a Super GM? Nope. Real. Hello there. Let's go. Bianchetto. Yet again. C3, D5. So when your opponent is dilly-dallying, you can go ahead and challenge them in the center. We're human. Darktooth, we're still human. I know that seems le contraire. We're still very much human. As last I checked, I was a human. Now, if I turn into an AI, I'll let you know. By the way, talking about that topic, if you could become sort of like an AI / human, basically Ghost in a Shell, would you do it? Would you get all the technology plugged up into you and live life like that? Probably. No way. Says who? They are saying no way. Chilling in your humanity. If I would write a book, I don't know what it would be about. And also, you wouldn't have to auto-tune ever. Just imagine that. You're a singer. You do not need auto-tuning anymore. Because it's built into you that you're on the best pitch ever. No auto-tuning. You're just there. You're ready to go. Like, you are a trumpet. You are the guitar. You are a drummer. You're a drum machine. Actually, you're a drum machine. Although, I don't know. I'm not a fan of drum machines. I like live drum machines. You'd walk around sounding like T-Pain, right? Alright, knight d5. Notice I'm trying to open up my bishop and put pressure that way. And the difference between my play and my opponent's is that knight is on the sides and it's not enjoying its time on the rim. Humans are the epitome of intelligence. Well, yeah, but at moments you're out of tune and it's a pain to listen to. So you're not perfect. You're a human, therefore not perfect. However, imperfections can be great. Just think about Queen. Think about Freddie Mercury. The way he was built was different. So in some ways, there were some mutations and stuff going on. So he could have pitches that you don't have. Nobody's as good of a singer as Freddie Mercury is. No, you guys don't want it. I'd rather go on the hard road, says Darktooth, and learn the instruments. There's beauty in the struggle. Life with no hardship isn't life. I get you. I definitely get you, what you're saying there. Whoop, it's a pawn. Take me. Give me my pawn. I'll take the pawn. I'm gonna spam the greed emote. This is actually nasty because the other guy on b7 is also opening up. Nope. Knight d3. Hitting there, and going c4. Vive la France! Vive la France, indeed. Although downloading the latest Chess Grandmaster update to your brain would be kinda nice, well, that's sorta kinda happening. I think I can just go c4. Just go c4 and... yeah, this is fine. Humans has nearly 100 billions and humans hardly use 5% of their brains. That I heard was debunked. As far as I know, that is a lie. It is a lie. A lot of sorts. No, I don't think that's true. I think that is wrong. It is wrong. Let's go e5. Just build the center. Look at these guys. Working in the shadows. Queen e7. So whenever you get into pins, you either want to scoot away or move the bishop. Now, Korchnoi is great for French games. He's a French playing a legend. So if you were a half AI and half human, what would be the thing you would want to do? Probably, I think I explained myself. I probably would go the musician route and being really good at singing because it's already plugged in. Yeah, I'm still doing good. Up a pawn, good bishops. Also have a bishop there, which is a Fischer favorite. Translator of all languages? Okay. So talking about languages, how many languages do you speak, chat? Okay. Go rook d8. I'm gonna get rid of that. 3. If you could name them, I would believe you. But because you don't name them, I have some reasons to be skeptical. Sorry. Russian, English, Armenian. Okay. 7.5 months into learning Japanese. And how is it going, Darktooth? Hungarian, German, and English. That is quite commendable. Alright, it's time for me to start pushing my folks. These guys. Probably I can just go ahead and just double on the D file here. But I have this sneaky knight lurking in the shadows. Now this queen is feeling a tidbit uncomfortable. And I'm losing my thoughts and words. English, Hindi, Urdu, Arabic, Portuguese, and English. The grind is tough, but you're enjoying it. Yeah, this is nasty. This is nasty. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm fine with it. But, ooh, thanks. This is a check, my friend. It is a check, all right. So, all right, let's defend everything. That's actually a good start. Check. I go here, takes 6, let's go rook d8. There. d7. Now I have the d file. Just what I want. Just what I want. I was constantly in some pins and ideas, and I just really hated it. So I felt like, hey, I should move away from that. Curiosity of the culture. I do know a bit of Russian because for known reasons, it is heavily connected to chess. I didn't quite grasp it, but I did study some. Yeah, mimicking the human behavior and human mind. Yep, Captain Cook, you're on the money. On the money. Who else is learning Japanese? Define AI. Queen e3. Alright. Let's kick this knight out. It's being a hassle over there. It can go here, because I'll take. And we're just going to swarm on in. Yep, let's swarm in. And once the queens are off the board, the chance of being mated sort of dissipates, but my threats will actually gain strength. Hey, 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 hey. Rook e2. Alright. Let's take. There. Rook d2. Just getting the tank on the second. That's where it belongs. Also, I want my bishop on this side of the board. That would make me feel real good. Like awesome. Awesome good. I could even go bishop h6 just to undermine that fellow. Alright, f6. I am walling up this bishop. Also, I don't want to give up the pawn. Mostly it's greed. And if I see those pawn goblins, I'll take them. There, but this sort of runs into bishop h6, kind of bothering that rook. And that rook is actually serving multi-purpose over there. Go bishop d5. White actually can't move, literally. This bishop is tied up there. This rook can't move because of defending that knight. The knight can't move. This is what we call Zugzwang, meaning lack of moves. And this quite looks tragic. And that king is not a happy camper over there. Alright. Let's just take this pawn. Fork is fine with me. I'm fine with getting these forks. They're good. And they help me eat. That's perfect. What countries have the most rich traditions? I think that's Russia, Armenia, ex-Yugoslavia, and Hungary. probably like these X countries have like that rich tradition. There, let's pin it. And obviously, I didn't list all of the countries out there. Probably missed out one or two. So please be kind with me if I missed out the country that you love. Um, but traditionally, those are the countries that are really big at it. Bishop f3, and those bishops take away all the hiding squares, and rook h1 is checkmate. There, let's take, and that's mate. All right, we're still getting there, but not quite. So traditionally, these were the big countries. So from, let's say, 1930, well, actually I did miss out someone, and that's Austria-Hungary. Or, I mean, it's more like the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So Austro-Hungarian Empire, the ex-Soviets, Russian, and the Yugoslavians, those were the big chess traditions. Anything else coming after that is coming from the internet age. Let's go d4. Let's be aggressive. Knight f3. There. Let's go c3. Takes knight c3. Bishop c4. And we're going to target the f7 pawn. There. Knight g5 is an idea, but this is even better. Want to hunt down the f7 pawn. French or German, that is kind of why that is. Because chess was big in the Austro-Hungarian times. Okay, knight d5. I'm just making sure I have lots of pressure on my opponent's pieces. There it takes. Widely regarded greatest player, Fischer. Fischer is high up there in c3, eyeing that pawn, also eyeing this knight. Tamara Boros, Croatian table tennis, might have some Hungarian roots, just based on the name, but who knows. c6. Okay, I'm gonna take this. Well, I want to. Let's take this. Why did I take that? He takes d5. Should have taken this pawn. Bishop e7. Let's castle. Castle. h3. I want to go over and attack. Well, they say it is called, and it's from India, but who knows? It might as well be just from Persia. It could be from Persia or India. That's a good question. But by the way, whenever you give check in most of countries, they call it Shah, and that's Persian. So, yeah, it could be India, but from a linguistic perspective, there's a chance it's Persian. e5. Let's be aggressive. Black still did not develop quite yet. Sanskrit? That's a good point. There. Okay. What am I doing? I have no time to think. Go g4. Asking where this queen is going. Where is that lady going? G6. Okay, can I take? Takes. Yes, I can. Yep. Knight G6. The thing is, I have threats on taking on F3 and on E8. Takes, rook takes. King G7, I have bishop H6 check, and rook G8 winning the queen. Do I have check here, mate? That might be even better. Check. F6. And I'm up plenty of material. I'm going for the mate over there. Yeah, it's ultimately chess is derived from Schach. Yes, exactly. Okay. Go queen e7. Bother that bishop. I should just play f4. No. No, what did I do? Alright, I'll take that. F4. I mean, rook f5. Check. I'll hide. There. Check, checkmate. You have Arab called India had Arab rulers and they were called shahs. Yeah, it's well known that in Persia and in Arab countries, the rulers were called shah. Resign, please. Resign. Please. You've got mate in one. All right. I wonder if this is going to be resignation or sleeping over here. I am getting ready, I think. Gonna chill here. Thinking of a defense, right? Right. Right, defense. I mean, I know losing is tough. Anti-starfish, thank you for following. Is diabolic. I don't think so. I mean, I get it. I get it. Like, chess can be infuriating, but I don't know. Just, yeah, it's just secret agent. I see. Well, that is bad luck. Then that is bad luck. It is bad luck. Um, what? Oh man. Disconnect, yeah, but the guy just is sitting there, which is interesting. Well, I mean, happens, but hey. Xerxes, it would be rage quitting if he would quit, like he wouldn't be online. But in fact, my opponent is online. Well, yeah. Yeah, it does give us a bit of hope to reflect on existing. Yeah, let's talk. Um, I know. Actually, we can talk about positions before. So here, when you give up the pawn, knight f3, this is called the Danish variation, which is kind of ironic because I am Danish. So you say my name exactly the same way. So that's kind of fun. Knight f3, you give up the pawn. The whole point is, if they start defending with the pawn, you go c3, takes, knight takes c3. And I do the same thing I did whole tournament. I actually get development for that one. So I get development for the pawn. Knight c6, that's a good move. c3. Now normally bishop c4 is the right move. All right, let's see. Bishop c4. That's the normal way you want to target this guy. That's what you want. c3. However, c3 is fine over here. And you give up a pawn because black has 3 more moves to go to get there. Wow, now that was not nice. All right, okay. Gonna be hyper aggressive, as I told you. Let's take there. g6, bishop g7. Oof, what am I doing? What am I doing? Let's castle. b5. Note I didn't play d6 for a reason, because I want to go all in with the attack. All right, let's sacrifice. Let us sacrifice. Check. King f2 takes. King b6. And even though I'm down a pawn, white pieces are a little bit disorganized. And oftentimes if your opponent's piece is a bit off, then you can count on something. Bishop e3, d6. There, bishop f5, targeting that rook, also getting my guys out. These bishops are strong, and once my knight gets in the play, it'll be very much a good position for me. There, let's take that pawn. I don't know why, but well, I know why. I took the pawn for the goods. Can anybody spam the greed emote? We take all the pawns that we can. Knight d7. g4. Okay. We could take c4. That doesn't really do a whole lot. Now let's do it. I'd have 6. I just wanted to win time and also have threats of plenty. Probably doubling makes sense. There. Okay, let's double. Knight g3, let's doublino. Press on that bishop. And even though white has plenty of pieces, reality is I have just a lot of pressure. Lots and lots of pressure. Knight there. Okay, let's take knight e4. there, but then I can take the queen. Takes. Check. Queen a5. No. Ah, can't win it in time. Take care, Darktooth. It's a hard ache. Yeah, this is sad. This is sad. G5. You could have resigned. Why are you offering a draw? B2? Well, good luck seeing another lady. Oh, okay. All right. Is online begging? Yeah. All right. Boo! Boo! Stalling. Want my money back. Want my money back. Anyways, got stalled out. So, GG's. Also, thanks guys for watching. This was a fun journey. I am going to do the same thing in the upcoming days. So if you had fun, definitely check us out on our socials. Actually, we have YouTube as well. You can find it there. Yeah, sure thing. Word, indeed, word. Alright. Whom should we raiderino? Obviously, we're going to raid Mr. Hikaru Nakamura. Let's give that a good old raid. And I hope you guys enjoy your time here. Want to see you back. Come back. We had a good talk. Any topics you have, any things that you're excited with, let me know. Be excited to talk about it. So with that, I am out and hope you have a good day wherever you are. Bye bye.